was the last time I had a turbo.
But now we're ready to start pulling everything off of it. You guys think the turbo's a huge turbo. It's a really small turbo housing. Crank it, pop it. We're gonna go big or go home. This thing's like light. So this is where it starts?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I am gonna fall, dude. You want cinematic, dude? We're just gonna be like, oh my God. We're here.
I'll come in from this one.
What are you gonna do? You gotta up
I was
that.
gonna do a 360, but I might hurt my ankle.
You can try it. Oh, you broke a stick? That's pretty sick. So we're not using any of that. So we're back with the wagon. We got a small freshen up, but before we fully freshen up, we just got to go over a couple new pieces that we got to go with some great supporters we have on board this year on the team. Josiah's never had a properly set up turbo car. He always had a sketchily set up RB. Said it was cool, but yeah, it's a little suck.
Yeah, so let's go back in time, 10 years plus. S13, RB25, S2, I took it out of a half-cut Skyline, total budget, had no money. That was the last time I had a turbo. 10 years later, Turbosmart and Artec are bringing me back into the turbo game with the 2J that Mike and I are building. We're gonna outfit this car with the FDF suspension. That's my department, function, and the form. We're gonna tune up the wastegate because we also have a Turbosmart wastegate. We're gonna get this pipe probably in the same location, but just, you know, titanium?
Everything's gonna be titanium. We got planes coming in. We got some of the best new age tech. Like Turbosmart literally just released these turbochargers. We saw them at PRI. Well, I did. You know me, I like turbos and shiny billet things and stuff. Brand new turbo series. So we're not gonna be the first, but we're gonna be one of the first people to be using these new engineered turbos from Turbosmart. They're proven with all, like this already has a Turbosmart blow-off valve on it. I have Turbosmart wastegate on my Blue E46. Turbosmart has been around for years. Combined with Artec, who is a newer company, we're gonna pull out the box and show the pieces soon. It's some of the most tricked stuff that you can get. It's super easy to work on. It's a cast manifold, but it's all stainless steel. It's made for V-band style turbine housing. We're just going new age. Right now, this is like a 2002 Cummins turbo on it. We did some dyno tests before this to kind of show what the major differences are. And what I'm really hoping for is moving our power band up. Right now, this thing was getting choked out at around 5 grand. Still makes great power, but you can just see the power curve kind of taper off, where a 2J, when it has enough air to come in and out, it can just keep flowing up in that power band range. So it's gonna be awesome. Make the same power, if not a little more, close to that 500 range. Right now I made 400. The biggest thing is the power band, because that's the most important thing, people. Just like in V8s, when you're thinking about everything in a vehicle, the V8 power band, when you're thinking about suspension dynamics, everything has an effect. So especially if you can prolong your power band, you effectively get better gearing, more power. It just makes a lot of things better.
We're gonna improve the graph with these products, and let's whip them out. Let's show them what these products look like, because we saw them at PRI, and these were some really impressive products for not having made turbos before.
This is their first turbochargers. Start off with the Artec manifold, because we already have that out of the box.
The quality of the casting and the material is really impressive, and then also the flow. You'll never get internal radiuses like this with pipe that we normally use in weld. You're very limited by a specific size, whereas this, obviously the radiuses and the flow and how everything gets to where it needs to go is significantly better. It's really strong. It's going to take the heat management way better with expansion and contraction, heating and cooling. Yes, the fully fabricated billet collectors looks great, but this is going to be the future.
But then they also have the Big Daddy manifold. This is just for the average person, which is going to do the same kind of setup that we have. Then they have, I'm pretty sure they actually call it the Big Daddy or the Big 2 manifold. So it's a cast stainless manifold still, but it's a lot longer tube runner. So if you want to go for big power, you're talking 800 to 1,000 range, that's when you go with that big manifold with their bigger size turbocharger. What we chose to go with this setup, we are playing with a 5862. So off the top of my head, I'm going to assume it's a 62 millimeter turbocharger. It's all V-band, all good stuff. I love V-bands, they're just the best. Stainless exhaust housing to match the Artec manifold as well. We have a lot nicer newer turbochargers. This is engineered for new age. Even me looking at it, this looks like a small exhaust housing, but this has been spec'd by the people who know more than me. Mostly, so we're gonna go with it, see how it goes. Along with this, we're gonna be upgrading all the lines. This turbocharger also has coolant lines on it, so we're gonna have to add some coolant lines off of the water neck and the lower water neck down there, which is super easy. We already did a couple things on the car already to get it looking fresh, but now we're ready to start pulling everything off of it and start getting new parts ready. Because as you can see from the weather, it's go time. It's time to party.
What Turbosmart is been known for a long time.
Yes, the wastegate.
Drift HQ. The man himself. Can you see that?
You woke him up?
Hey, did I wake you up? And this is the Turbosmart wastegate. This has basically been their bread and butter. You control your boost, you need a good wastegate. Never cheap out on this stuff.
Nope.
That's why, you know, this is what we would have chosen regardless of the new turbo setup that we would have chosen. And fortunately, the Artec manifold has a nice home for it right there. So we're gonna make a nice titanium dump, probably going out the same location. We'll have very good boost management with the Turbosmart wastegate.
The wastegate is what controls the boost. It's what regulates the exhaust pressure to not be in the turbocharger, and it comes out the wastegate tube and dumps out. This one shoots flames. Its job is heat management. All it does is get cycled through heat on and off. Cheaper wastegates will not get good boost control. You'll spend a lot of money on something cheap out on a wastegate, and you'll learn the hard way every single time. So before we started on this whole journey, I took this out to my main man, Brett. Big rigging, thanks to my boy Wayne. We are out here at my buddy Brett's shop, doing a base dyno pull with the Wagon here, seeing what it puts down with all the old school parts that are on it. And gonna see the exact difference it makes when we hit it with some new horsepower parts. We just dynoed it just as it was, just to see what it made. It made around 400, just under 400. We're saying 400, 400. We're going to direct deposit this Artec manifold, brand new Turbosmart turbo. Kyle and I are going to tear this all apart, put everything on, make some new lines, make everything work. Once everything's together, we're going to take it back to the same dyno, run the exact same tune, and just see what it did. Same boost, same everything, same conditions, and that way we can see the direct back-to-back changes and how much of an improvement these new products made, which I am going to say instantly it's going to give us more horsepower, more torque off the bat, and the most important thing, give us a more usable power band to give this guy the V8 feeling that he's looking for.
This is what we need. The graph needs to be taller and longer.
Yeah, I like that.
Bigger.
The car needs to be lowered. We'll talk about that.
Front, whatever. Yeah, form guy's gonna be debating the function guy for
Whatever,
sure.
Man. And we're back. We got the Wagon back in the shop. I just tossed it on the hoist. So now that we showed you all this beautiful stuff that we have, I'm gonna start pulling it all apart. It's a really simple setup, so I'm gonna run through it. Get Jack. Jack's gonna be giving me a hand over here. Kyle's doing something over there. So
While you're getting stuff.
whatever, man. Yeah, we're just gonna pull all this stuff off and kind of address and make note of the points that we want to change. Realistically, taking off the entire old turbo setup, that includes all of the intake piping, charge piping, because we're going to be freshening up a lot of other things at the same time. Going to be cleaning up some wiring and stuff too. So pretty much pull apart everything as cleanly as we can so we can keep it all organized, get a little bench going and just keep it aside. Then we can clean up all of our mating surfaces in there, toss the new parts in, and start getting an eye and seeing where everything's going to sit. We got to clean up. We're going to paint a bunch of stuff after because we're going to do some welding and reinforcing. So don't judge us too hard. I'm going to get it fully up on the hoist. We can start on doing the turbo drain line and stuff like that. Because once I start pulling off the bolts for the turbocharger, the oil feed line is on top. It's super easy. The oil drain line is going to go down to the block. So I'm just going to undo it off the block, undo the exhaust section, pull a couple things off. So when I bring it back down and undo some pieces, I just pull it off, put it on the table. Let's rock. Oh yeah, it's this side. Oh, it's okay. We got stools, dude. I'm a fool with a stool. Super easy. Dash 10 wrench. Yeah. Nice. And that's pretty much it, other than the feed, which is right here. When you know it's going to be tight, so you just need a glove just to take the pain away for when you inevitably smash your hand. Oh, see? Just soaks the pain away. So this is the turbo feed. So this is the drain and feed off of the block. We'll be able to see these way easier once we pull it all off. But again, we'll just, since it's up, we'll do that. I'm gonna undo this V-band right here. Oh, thanks, Kyle. Timber. We'll get that later. This blanket's a little torched there. A little torched, brother. Oh, wastegate line's also a little loose. You'll get that. One line off. Oh, we're gonna be upgrading all this stuff too. Dude, Kyle's got some trick tools in here, man. Like, check these. Jeez, dude.
High roller.
Big baller Bane.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Builds a Corvette, and now he's just a.
Dude, do you know what today is?
It's his birthday?
Yeah, dude.
Is it actually?
Yeah, dude.
It's actually Kyle's birthday?
Actually.
No way.
25.
25, Kyle, man. Let's go. Happy birthday, dude. Yeah, what's up? You guys think the turbo is a huge turbo. It's a really small turbo housing. It's just diesel stuff doesn't rev high, so they also have a small housing. So that blanket makes it look huge. Huge. And we're going to keep pulling off more stuff, and it's going to keep looking smaller and smaller as soon as I start taking more off. Dude, what's going on? Here we go. What do you want a QR code? Oh yeah? What are you doing now? Or can you not release it yet? Now you got me all amped up. Now I want to know. Spin it, Jack.
Ooh, loose, dude.
Well, yes, it is side to side, but what matters is in and out. Which there is loose. Like, you do notice on the dyno video and stuff, it does haze. Like, this thing hazed a lot, so this thing does burn a little bit of oil. So, you know, it's almost like we had to do it.
So then you mentioned too, like, this one doesn't have a coolant line like
This
the
has
other one.
no cooling lines, yeah. So on this one, what we're gonna do, from factory, this had 2 cooling lines on it. And then down here is 1 cooling line. So I'm just going to weld a fitting onto either anywhere on this one, and then we can use this hose, or I can weld a fitting down to here, but this hose is here anyways. So we'll do a section of line, adapt it to like a stainless line, and then do stainless line because it's going to be close to the hot stuff on the manifold.
Okay.
So it's really hard to take this line and put it over and clamp it. And also if you do, it's super sus and sketchy because it's not supposed to be clamped on that way. So it would be better to do a smaller section of rubber, like OEM uses rubber line, smaller section of that. Then you can use fitting that Vibrant or Nuke or a good company who offers a large assortment of fittings, a barb, like a 3/8 barb, to -6 or they'll probably be -6, and then we can make a small little stainless line of -6, put the proper DEI wrapping around it, because they're going to be, I'll show you once we have it in here, they're going to be wrapping over the manifold. Like this one's going to be like right near all the hot stuff, right? So, yeah, dude.
Sweet.
Just lubing up some nuts and bolts. They're a little rusty. Been on there for a while. Oh, dude, this stuff's sticky. Look at it go.
Yeah, that's undercoating.
No way. It says powerful rust and corrosion protection. Oh, so I grabbed the wrong thing is what you're saying?
You'd use WD-40.
I was hoping for a good penetrant, man.
I don't know if anybody...
1 hour later. And then Kyle came over. He's like, couldn't you have just taken off the whole manifold? And I said, shut up, Kyle. Because he was right. This is not job efficient. It's kind of like a bop it, you know? Pull it! Crank it! Bop it! Pull it! Twist it! Dude! Ta-da! Look at a little dongler tube, dude. Cool, dude. So that's off. Got our Gascaronis on there. Pretty clean. Just hit it with some brake clean. Clean up the frame sections and stuff down here, you know. This is the headlight wiring, so we can cut off this whole side on bolt that bar out. So we got to modify that intercooler anyways. We're rocking. Bam. So we got the old crusty stuff off, and we're tossing on the nice new goodness. So this should just gotta line it up right. Perfect. Stay. We're just gonna put 2 bolts on for now, just to hold it in place. All right, so that gives us an idea of what it's gonna look like. This baddie, toss on there. I haven't clocked it or anything yet. I'm just gonna kind of toss it in there, clip the V-band ring on. We're gonna see where it's gonna sit. This thing's like light too, in comparison to the old stuff. All this is way lighter. Kyle, man, get over here, dude.
Wow.
Hold this, man. Hey, take your grubby gloves off, man. Just line it up right there for me. And let it, try and spin it around. Yep, there you go. And then we can loosen it and adjust all the housings around, because obviously this is the turbo feed right here, so that shouldn't be there. So we'll crack all these nuts loose. All right, so get that over. And then we'll just snug this one back up again. You just want to get it all kind of loose. Every time, man. That's called clocking. So it's like you can loosen it all and you can move it all to where you want it to fit, right? Because this is going to be sitting somewhere like that. So we can weld the elbow to it, come up into there. And we want our oil fitting pretty much straight up, or there's like a 10-15 degree. Something like that. HD clamp.
What sound does it make?
So we got dilly whipped up our little exhaust flange. So we got our flanges sorted. What we're gonna deal with first, let's just play with some lines. We're gonna get our lines situated. So we got our 2 oil feed lines. And the reason we have 2 lines, because we're -4 from the block, but then we're going to this trick little oil filter. And Turbosmart does recommend in their little literature that I was reading through to run a pre-turbocharger filter. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna rock one of these bad boys mounted in the corner. That secondary line is gonna come off. On top of the turbocharger, it came the fitting from Turbosmart. They know what's going on, so I'm gonna leave that fitting there. It just points straight. So we're using this little swivel fitting. It's a 90-degree -4 swivel because these lines come with straight ends on them. So if we had a straight end, our oil line would be pointing straight up into the hood. So we're gonna use this little Johnny, something like that. And then I'm thinking, like, we have a couple holes down here. So obviously we're gonna wrap, everything's gonna get rewrapped and freshened up and stuff after. I'm gonna change all these lines. But this gives us enough room to come over into the filter somewhere over here. Wrap this on the frame rail. I'm gonna assemble that filter first. I just thought I'd undo the line. The O-rings. Looks like there's one in there already. We have a couple different filters, screen meshes of different microns. I know on their website I can pull it up and I'll be able to check all the actual micron dimensions. We're gonna go big or go home because we do have a good oil filter on it anyways. It's so cute.
It's cute.
Just because it's cute doesn't mean it doesn't pack a punch. Right, Jack? Come on, dude. Where's your enthusiasm? I was pretty enthusiastic.
Right, Dewey.
There we go. Nice -6 and size. And then we're gonna find out where we want to mount this bad boy. So we'll just connect it to the line, because we know this is the line that we're using. Hey, get back here. Make sure it's flowing the right way. And then we have some billet clamps, and then we have some P clamps. That's what I was thinking down here would work pretty good, because I'll wrap it all so it can almost sit over here in the corner, mount it over here somewhere, and then the new line out into that. And then that's our oil feed setup. And then the oil drain is relatively simple as well too. I don't even think we really need an extension because how this housing is, there's tons of room to tighten it up under here. Like I can put it in a couple different spots, you know, so it does something like that. I'll just grab one of those clamps and pick a spot. There might be a bolt here on the frame, something like that, and then it keeps it all away from it. So we've been rocking all day on this bad boy, button up a little things. We got all the new oil feed and drain line done. We need to order some stuff to do the coolant lines for it because we weren't expecting on doing cooling lines on the turbo that we got. So we're gonna have to do that. So we need to order some fittings for that. Need to order a couple more adapter flanges. Oops, a couple more adapter flanges. But other than that, we got the turbo setup done. We can start pulling off more parts. Kyle's gonna start pulling off subframes and stuff like that. So we're just trying to, even though it doesn't look like a crazy amount of progress, it's still making progress in terms of getting the new stuff on and figuring out what we need to make everything work. Right now it would start up, honestly, and it would run no problem, but it's kind of pointless. We still gotta pull apart the wastegate, make sure the right springs are in it, order fittings to make the wastegate lines fit on there. A lot of new stuff now, right? So we just gotta adapt and overcome and get a couple of pieces to make everything work in harmony together. So other than that, we got the brand new Turbosmart turbo hung up in there on the Artec manifold, whole host of vibrant fittings to make everything come together for the plumbing, for the turbo feed and the drain. And then also that's what we're going to be using for the cooling lines, for the water cooling system of the turbocharger. And then we're going to get onto intercooler piping, downpipe, and wastegate dump too. So lots more fun stuff to come, and we'll check you guys on the next one.